What is up guys, Karma Medic here and welcome back to another dose. Today I'm going to be doing an in-depth dive into the quantitative reasoning section of the UKCAT. I've already done two videos like this before, one for abstract reasoning and one for verbal reasoning, and you guys seem to like those and you've been requesting the quantitative reasoning video as well for a while. So I'm going to do that today and hopefully you guys find it useful. Before we get into the video, if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram on my medic page, Karma Medic. I'm going to be posting there about my daily life as a researcher and then also about medical school in September when I start second year as a clinical medical student. So that's pretty exciting, and follow me there to keep up to date with my life in between these videos. Quantitative reasoning, a couple of general tips. For quantitative reasoning, first and foremost, make sure you know your equations. In my other UKCAT video where I sort of talk about all of the sections in one video, in the quantitative reasoning section, I put up a bunch of equations up on the screen. Make sure you write those down, make sure you memorize them, and you learn them off by heart, back to front. I can't stress how important it is that those equations are just immediately there for you. They're there at the top of your head and you can quickly go through them. I believe between sections, you also have a small period of time to kind of take a break or relax. Feel free during that time to write down all the equations that you know so that they're immediately there, they're available for you. Second of all, and also of extreme importance, is to make sure that you are familiar with using the on-screen calculator. There's nothing worse than showing up to the day of your UKCAT exam never having used a keyboard and mouse to plug in numbers into a calculator. Make sure you practice using that on-screen calculator from the very beginning. You want to know what functions it has, what functions it doesn't have, how many steps you can do in a row without losing your numbers, how to save numbers to memory. You really want to make sure you have these things down before you do your UKCAT exam. After that, it's all about just reading the question, getting the relevant information from the table or the graph or the passage, the writing, whatever, and just doing everything as fast as you can, but maintaining accuracy. Also, just a side note from my experience, I found the quantitative reasoning section on the official UKCAT significantly easier than any of the practice tests that the UKCAT publishes online, and easier than the 1250, I think it was ISC books that I was using, and the Kaplan 2-day online electronic course books that I was using. So I found it significantly easier. I don't know if it'll be the same for you, I hope it is, but just keep that in mind. So, all right, I'm gonna switch over to my computer now. I'm gonna push myself up into one of the corners of the screen, and yeah, we'll move on from there. So I'm gonna have a pen and paper with me, just so I can write down a couple of things. Obviously use your pen and paper in the exam, that is gonna be really useful. And let me bring up the on-screen calculator now. What did I wanna say? So I haven't done UKCAT questions for quantitative reasoning in forever. This applies for all the videos that I'm doing like this. So if I'm slow, if I'm really stupid with my math, don't crucify me. I'm gonna do my best. First question, we have something about mountains in Kilimanjaro. Okay, cool. So how I tackle these questions is I don't spend time reading through the graph or through the table or whatever. I first read the question and then go and try and find the relevant information. If you start by reading the graph or the table, I think it might take way too much time and you might get bogged down in all that information. So just focus on the question first. Let's start. The southern hemisphere mountain with the median height is. Okay, before I even look at the table, the only important things I care about here are southern hemisphere and median. If you don't know what the median is, make sure you go learn it, memorize what the median is. Mean, median, mode, make sure you know those terms off by heart and you know exactly what they mean. Median, I know from reading the question that I'm gonna have to order a certain thing, a certain number of things. I'm gonna have to put them in order, and then I'm gonna start crossing out on the left and right until I get to the middle value, and that's gonna be my median. So before I even look at the question, I know that that's what I'm gonna have to do. Southern hemisphere mountain with the median height. So look, my table, mountain, height, meters. I personally like working in meters, so that's what I'm gonna stick to for now. Southern hemisphere mountain with median height. So which of these are in the southern hemisphere? Latitude, longitude. So here, these say SSS, NNN, SSS, whatever. So I'm gonna look at all the S's, okay, and their heights, and I'm gonna write them down in order on a piece of paper, and then I'm gonna start crossing out. So the first S, Kilimanjaro, I'm just gonna write a K. Don't waste your time writing down Kilimanjaro. What a waste of time. Just write down K and 50, so it's 5,900 meters, so I'm only gonna write down 59. That's it, okay? K, 59, Kilimanjaro, 59. When you're in the exam pressure, trust me, you're not gonna forget what K stands for. It clearly stands for Kilimanjaro, 59 stands for 5,900, okay? The next south one, Vinson Massif, Antarctica. So I'm gonna write VM49. Yeah, that's gonna be 70. So those are my mountains. Now I need to rank these in order from lowest to highest and then start crossing out. So I'm not going to move them around, I can just rank them in my head. So I'm going to cross out KO and A, then I'm going to cross out K, and the other two are both 49. So that means I must have missed something. Otherwise, this would be so much easier to determine. Okay, so this is very, very cheeky. In meters, both VM and CP read 4,900, but in feet, CP reads 16,000, this reads 16,1. So Vincent Massive is actually higher. Wow, that was very cheeky. Did not like that, UKCAT. I guess you really need to pay attention. But anyway, the point is you need to find the median, and you know, Southern Hemisphere mountains, choose the ones that are relevant, you write them down in nice code form, you don't want to write out the full words, such a waste of time, and start crossing out. Next question. The mountain whose height is closest to the mean height of those listed in the table. So this first requires me to calculate the mean height of all of the mountains in the table, and then find the one that's closest to that. Now, I can already tell from now this is going to take so much time, okay? Calculating the mean height using this on-screen stupid calculator is going to take forever. I'm going to have to write 59 plus 49 plus whatever. So if you know from the beginning that a question is going to take a lot of time, you might want to think about skipping that question, flagging it, and coming back to it later if you have enough time. Now this question, yes, it's going to take a lot of time, but it's also very simple. It's very easy and straightforward, so I think it might be worth doing. But if you have another question that has multiple steps and you know it's going to take forever, just guess and move on. It's not worth spending that much time on one question. Since this one's easy and I know that technically I can get it right 100% of the time, I'm just going to do it as quickly as I can. So equals this divided by the total number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That gives me 55.8, so something close to 56, which is Elbrus. Does that make sense? So B for Elbrus, that's my answer to this question. Next question. Approximately in which direction would an airplane have to fly from London, UK to reach Aconcagua using the shortest route? Okay, so where's London, UK? London. I don't see London, UK anywhere in the table, so I'm going to skip to this writing. Real quick, London. I have no idea. Where is London? I'm going to go with Europe. And where is Aconcagua? It's here, South America. 70 west, 33 south. I'm just going to quickly draw a compass and see if I can figure this out. Europe, yeah, so England is on the west of Europe, so that's 46 north, something east, somewhere here, and Aconcagua is 33 south, 70 west, so 33 south, 70 west, somewhere here. So this is southwest. Is that it? Towards the southwest? Does that make sense? I think that kind of makes sense. I hope it's right. I'll double check, and if it's not, I'll come back. Next question. The mountain which is on the line of longitude furthest away from the longitude 0 is, so longitude here, what's furthest away from longitude 0? I mean, I would think 151 here. 151 degrees is the longest furthest away thing from 0, so I'm going to go with McKinley, which is D. So that was a pretty simple question, and pay attention and notice that in this question I didn't use any of this writing here. None of it. I literally only used, wait, are there more questions? No, okay. So for this question, I only used the table. I didn't even use the writing. So that's a good reason to not have to read all the table and all the writing first, because you might not even, oops, low battery. Because you might not even end up using it. So I would definitely recommend going for the questions first in the quantitative reasoning section and seeing where you go from there. Let me plug in my phone so it doesn't die. All right, question 2. Something about ticket prices at a fair. Okay, cool. So let's begin. The ages of 4 members of a family who went to the fair are 6, 13, 15, 55. Ice skating, giant wheels, snow adventure, spent 45 on different food. What was the total amount spent? Oh my God. Let's start with the 6-year-old. So prices above 12, child 2 to 12. So the 6-year-old fits in 2 to 12, and she went ice skating, giant wheel, and snow. Ice skating, giant wheel, 10, snow, 4. So she's 14. They'll spend 45 at different food stalls, so that's later, okay? 13s, so above 12, ice skating 8, 7, that's 15, 6, 21. 55-year-old group, 20 people more, above 12. So the 55-year-old fits into adult as well. So that's another 21. So that's a total of 21, 21, 42 plus 14, 46, 56. And then they also spend 45 pounds on food. So that takes us to, if it was 55 plus 45, that would be 100, but it's 101. That is none of the answers, so let's see what I missed out. 6, 13, 15, oh, I missed out the 15-year-old as well. So that's another adult above 12, so that's an extra 21. So that takes us to 122, which is answer number B. All right, next question. See, that took quite some time. I guess it wasn't too bad. But let's see, let's move on. I've forgotten like what constitutes as taking way too much time and I should skip, and what constitutes as taking me a decent amount of time. So I would definitely gain experience by doing questions and see what takes you forever. For example, any questions involving tax I sucked at, so I would always skip those. Anything involving time zones as well. So just see what you are not so great at and skip those questions, flag them, mark an answer, and come back. Okay, next question. A group of people bought group tickets for the Giant Wheel and Thrill. If they paid a total of $433, how many people were in the group? For Giant Wheel and Thrill. So X number of people times the Giant Wheel price for a group of 20, which is 6. So X times 6 plus the same X, the same number of people, times Thrill, which is 950, so 9.5, equals 434. So we have this pretty simple algebraic equation. Let's solve it. So 6x plus 9.5x equals 434. 9.5 plus 6 is 15.5. So x is 434 divided by 15.5. That's not going to give me a straight answer. Let's see what we get. 28. Oh, it does give me the same answer. So the answer is 28. Next. On a Sunday, 129 adults and 216 children visited the fair. Among the visitors, 2/3 of adults and 3/4 children went ice skating. If none of them purchased a group ticket, what was the total amount earned for the sales for ice skating that day? So 2/3 of adults, and there's 129 adults. So first, let's find out what 2/3 of 129 is. 2/3 is 0.66666666667. So just to avoid wasting time, I'm just going to type that in instead of doing 2/3 first. So 2/3 of adults is equal to 86 adults. And 3/4 of the children, so 216 times 3/4. 3/4 is, times 216 times 3/4. 216 times 0.75. You definitely need to know your fractions. 3/4 is obviously 75%. It's 0.75. 2/3 is 0.6666667. You have to know these fractions and decimals off by heart. Just memorize them, make a table, whatever you need to do. So that's 162. So I know that 162 children at the price of £5 when ice skating. So 162 times 5 equals 810. And 86 adults times the adult price for ice skating is 8 is 688. So 688 plus 810 that I calculated from before gives me an answer of 1498, which is answer B. Simple. So you can see that these questions, the actual math involved is super simple. It's just averages, adding, multiplying, dividing, a couple of fractions and whatever. The math is really simple. You just have to get used to doing these questions fast in a timed manner and keeping accuracy. Next question. Family of 4 adults and a few children between 2 and 12, so a 2 to 12 child, went on the Giant Wheel and Snow Adventure. They paid $133. How many children were in the family? This is going to be another one of those equations, so I'm going to get more paper. 4 adults and a few children. Let's do the adults first because we actually know what they were. Went on the Giant Wheel and Snow Adventure. So 4 adults for the Giant Wheel is 4 times 7, which is 28. Plus 4 adults for the Snow Adventure, which is 4 times 6, which is 24. I'm going to add those two now just to make my life easier. That comes to 42. So 42 is the cost that adults paid. Now a few children, we don't know what they are, so let's call them X. So 42 pounds from the adults plus X number of children times, they went on the Giant Wheel and the Snow Adventure, so their Giant Wheel cost for the child is 5, plus X number of children also went on the Snow Adventure, which is 4, equals 133. So we end up with this equation here. 45 that I had from 4 plus x times 5 plus x times, that's very not neat, sorry, times 4 is 133. So let's solve this equation. 42 plus 5x plus 4x is 9x equals 133. 9x equals 133 minus 42, which in my head comes to, so x is 91 divided by 9, and how many children? 10.1. Now, can't really have 10.1 children, and I can't have 10 children because that's not in the answer. Now, I've definitely done something wrong. If I just do a quick check now, 8 plus 24 is 48. Oh, that's 52. That's 52, not 42. 81 divided by 9 is 9. So, sorry about that. Mistakes have been made. Next question, we have something about a car sale. Okay, cool. This says number of sedans sold by 5 companies first half of the year. Okay, first question. If Amtech sells only sedans and hatchbacks, what percentage of total cars sold by Amtech were sedans? If Amtech sells only sedan and hatchback, okay, what percent of total cars of Amtech were sedans? So sedan number as a total of hatchback and sedan. So the equation here is 9,832 divided by 9,832 plus 1,350. 87.93. Boom. So the answer is A. Now, keep in mind for this question, when I was using the calculator, here's my equation, all right? Now the problem is with those stupid calculators that they make you use is that you can't type this all in one go onto the calculator because A, there's no brackets. So first you have to do this calculation down here. It gives you 11182. And then you have to do 9832 divided by 11182. Now, you either write down 11182 on your paper or you keep it in your head and you do this calculation, and that can save you a bit of time as well. So if you practice remembering a couple of numbers in your head, that might be able to save you time too. Okay, so next question. What is the difference between the average number of sedans sold by Dingbo and Giaz and the average number of hatchbacks sold by Dingbo and Giaz? Between the average number of sedans sold by Dingbo and Giaz, okay, and the average number of hatchbacks sold by Dingbo and Giaz. What is the difference between the average number of sedans? Table shows the number of sedans sold. Oh, okay, so this question is asking to find the average of Dingbo and Giaz sedans and the average of hatchback and Giaz hatchbacks and minus one from the other. So let's get our piece of paper. The average of sedans sold by Dingbo and Giaz is 32418 plus 59462 divided by 2. You have to know what an average, god damn it. You have to know what an average is in order to do this question, so make sure you guys know your equations and your terms, your math terminology. Why do I feel like I did that wrong? Let's see. 45940, and the average of hatchbacks sold by the two companies is 353 plus 32111 divided by 2. 16232. So if I divide the original number that we found, which was 45940 minus 16232, 29708, which is B, which is great. Next question. The sale of hatchbacks by both Dingbo and Jard in the second half of the year was approximately 20% less than their sale in the first half of the year. How many more hatchbacks were sold by Jard and Dingbo during the second half of the year? I suck at these questions, but I'm gonna try and work through it. So, okay, so clearly I don't understand this question too well. And if this was me in the exam situation, I would most definitely move on from this question. A, I've already sunk a lot of time into it. B, I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know if I'm being stupid or if I missed a piece of information, but I don't know what's going on. I've already wasted a lot of time on this and I don't have an answer. So I'm just gonna guess an answer. I'm gonna flag this question and I'm gonna move on. I don't wanna waste any more time on this question. And yeah, you really wanna maximize the number of points you can get from the easier questions that you are comfortable solving. So I'm moving on. Next question. The expected total sale of Salzi sedans and hatchbacks for the second half of the year is this. What is the expected percentage increase in the sale of sedans and hatchbacks manufactured by Salzi? So in the first half of the year, Salzi sold 110,000 plus 10,000. That's 120,000. And then they're expecting to sell 180,000. So what is the expected percentage increase? If only I remembered the equation for percentage increase. It's somewhere in my UKCAT video, go find it. I'm gonna Google it, but you guys should find it and know it off by heart. Percentage increase equation. Really make sure you know these equations off by heart. It'll save you so much time. So work out the difference between the two, which is 60,000. Then divide the increase by the original number, which is 120,000. If we do 60 over 120, that's 0.5, so that's 0.5. And multiply that by 100, so 0.5, 50. Let's go back. That is a 50% increase. Boom, 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 skitty, boop, bop, bop, bop. And final question I'm gonna do, something about endangered species. Okay, cool. So, approximately what percentage of the total number of critically endangered species are mammals? Critically endangered mammals, that's easy. So 109 divided by the total. So 109 plus 45 plus 118 plus 78, so that's the total, 350. So 109 divided by 350 is 31.14%, so 31%. D, next. That was easy. Okay. What would be the approximate decrease in the percentage of each category of species in the endangered risk level to make the total number of species in this level the same as the total number of species in the vulnerable? Okay, interesting question. So vulnerable's total right now is 30 plus 20 plus 39 plus 46. 135. The total in endangered is 60 plus 98 plus 30 plus 36, which is 224. So what would be the approximate decrease in the percentage of each category in this species? Okay, so let's find out how much of a total decrease we need, and then we'll divide that by 4 categories. So 224 minus 135 is 89. 89 over the original of 224 times 100, so will give us the percentage decrease. 224 times 100 is a 39.7% decrease. So that divided by 4 categories is this times 100, which is 9.9, 10%. That does not appear to be here. 39%, is it 40? Does that make sense? So I'm not sure. I thought it was 40 divided by 4 to know how much each one decrease would be. Although if we need a total of 40% decrease, then if each one decreases by 40%, that'll be the same thing, I think. So I'm gonna go with 40% with this one. I'm gonna check the answer at the end, and if it's wrong, I'll come back to you guys. Next question. So, due to the effort of bioconservation organizations, if 20% of critically endangered move to vulnerable and 30% of endangered are moved to vulnerable, what will be the percentage increase in the number of mammals in the vulnerable? Oh my goodness, what a waste. So, first we need to know what the total number of vulnerable animals is, which we calculated last question, which is 135. That's another great way to save time. If you remember a value or you have a value from a previous question that you can use again, just use it again. So 135, now we want 20% of critically. Okay, so very valuable lesson has been learned here. I need to read the question more carefully. So I immediately jumped to the idea that I was looking at totals, whereas if you read the question more carefully, it says mammals. So let's do this question again. Due to the effort, if 20% of critically endangered mammals are moved to vulnerable risk level and 30% of endangered mammals are moved to vulnerable risk level, what will be the percentage increase in the number of mammals in vulnerable risk level? So the original number of mammals in vulnerable is 20. And here we have 20% of the critically endangered. Critically endangered mammals is 109. 20% of that is 21.8. And then we have 30% of endangered mammals. So endangered mammals, 98, we want 30% of that times 0.3 is 29.4. So our new total is 29.4 plus 21.8. 21.8, nice, plus 20, which is 71.2. Now the percentage increase equation that we used last time is still gonna work. So the difference, 71.2 minus the original 20 is this, divided by the original, which is 20, times 100, I can tell is 256, so B, 256%. Next question. prime reason for 45% of critically endangered amphibians, mammals, and birds was loss of habitat. 55% of critically endangered birds and 50% of critically endangered mammals were in this level for this reason. How many species of amphibians were in the critically endangered level because of loss of habitat? Okay, let's do this total first. 45% of these three things: amphibians, mammals, and birds, critically endangered. Amphibians, mammals, birds, critically endangered. So 45 plus 109 plus 118 is this. 45% of that, so times 0.45 is 122.4. Now 55% of critically endangered birds, which is 118, 55% of critically endangered birds, 118 times 0.55 is 64.9, plus 50% of critically endangered mammals, so 109 times 50%, 0.5 is 54.5. This gives us a total here of 54.5 plus 64.9 is 119.4. So 122.4 minus 199.4, that's 3. Boom, B3. Done. I think that's it. I think that's where I'm going to stop quantitative reasoning. That's definitely enough mental math and stress for me in one weekend. I hope you guys found that useful. I was talking through my thinking and my logic as I answered the questions. If you guys have any feedback on how this was, if you think I can do something that would make it more useful for you in the future, please do leave a comment down below and let me know. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned something from this video. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me. Have a great time applying. Have a great time revising. And if you have any questions, of course, as always, leave a comment down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.